All right, now let me show you how to log messages to MongoDB. So we're going to install another npm package that is Winston-MongoDB. So the current version is 4.0.0 and this is release candidate. There is an issue with this package, so I'm going to use an earlier, more stable version. npm install Winston-MongoDB. Let's install version 3.0.0. Make sure to use this exact version, otherwise what I'm going to show you in this lecture will not work with this release candidate version. So back in index.js, in the last lecture we added a file transport. Now we're going to add a MongoDB transport. First we need to go on the top. After we load Winston, we need to load Winston-MongoDB. So require Winston-MongoDB. And here we don't care about what is exported from this module. We just need to require it. Okay. With this, we can come here and call Winston.add Winston.transports.mongodb. We pass an options object. There are a few properties here that you can look in the documentation. The one that you need to set is DB. So we set this to the connection string of our database. MongoDB : //localhost/vidlink. Now in a real world scenario, you may want to separate your log from your operational database. That's a decision that varies from one environment to another. Here we're going to use the same database for logging our errors. All right, we're done with this. Now, we don't need to make any other changes. So next time there is an error in the application, because we have another transport, Winston will automatically store our error in MongoDB. So let's run the application again. And back in Postman, send a request to the genres endpoint. Done. Now let's take a look at MongoDB Compass. Here's our Vidley database. Let's refresh. You can see we have a new collection, log, and this is the message we logged. So here's the timestamp, the level is set to error, and here's the message, could not get the genres. Now this meta property is the metadata object that we passed as the second argument to this error method. So the first argument is the message, the second argument is metadata. So this error object has a few properties and all of them are stored in MongoDB. So here, if you expand meta, you can see the message, name, as well as the stack trace. These are all the properties of the standard error object in JavaScript. Now, in the last lecture, I talked about logging levels. So here are the standard logging levels. When adding a transport, you can also set the logging level for that transport. For example, back in index.js, maybe you only want to log the errors in MongoDB. You don't want to store information messages or debug messages. If that's the case, here in the options object, you set the database, and next to that, you also set the level property. You set this to error. So with this, only error messages will be logged. Now, if you set this to info, because info is the third logging level, that means only the error, warning, and info messages will be logged. So nothing beyond info will be logged in MongoDB.